We're going to work through our test 2 review over angles and graphing trig functions. So number 1 and 2 says convert each degree measure into radians. Here in the middle, I put what we're supposed to do. The reason we're supposed to multiply by pi over 180, that's our unit multiplier. And since this is in degrees, we want to make sure degrees is in the denominator as highlighted, so the degrees cancel. So we would multiply by pi radians over 180 degrees. And then we're going to simplify. Well, we cancel the degrees, and looks like 5 at least goes into both of these. So 155 divided by 5 is 31. And so this is negative. And we have 31 pi, and 180 divided by pi. Divided by 5, because 5 goes into 155 and 180. Maybe I should be writing it here. So 31 goes into this. 180 divided by 5 is 36. And there is our answer. This is in radians, although radians is what's called a dimensionless unit, so we don't actually have to write it. Number 2 is going to be similar. We're not going to do that. I'm going to leave that for you. Number 3 and 4, it says convert each radian measure into degrees. So this time we want to cancel the radians, and so the radians needs to go in the denominator. Again, this is radians. We could write that there. We don't need to. We could put radians down here. And so we're going to multiply by 180 degrees over pi radians. Now notice here, radians cancel. Again, dimensionless, so we don't need to do that, but pi cancels with pi. This is a nice easy cancel here. 18 goes into 18 once, and 18 goes 180 10 times. And then we multiply across, and we see we have negative 230 degrees. It's kind of small here, but degrees is still there. All right, 5 and 6, find a positive and negative coterminal angle for each angle. So in order to find coterminal angles when dealing with radians, we add or subtract multiples of 2 pi. 2 pi, 4 pi, 6 pi, 8 pi. To the angle given, make sure we get a common denominator in order to add or subtract. So we want to add 2 pi to this, or a multiple of 2 pi. So since this is a denominator of 3, we can think, all right, well, 2 pi, multiply that by 3 over 3 to get a common denominator is 6 pi over 3. So we can add 6 pi over 3, or we can multiply that by any multiple. We can add 12 pi over 3, and I'm noticing adding 6 pi over 3 actually is good, because that will give us another negative coterminal angle. So we can add 6 pi over 3, because that won't get us out of the negatives yet. And so that's negative 4 pi over 3. So that is a negative coterminal angle. We could have subtracted 6 pi over 3. So an alternate answer for this, you could have taken negative 10 pi over 3 and subtracted 6 pi over 3. And that's negative 16 pi over 3. So you don't have to have both of these answers. I can see some of you getting one and some of the other, which is fine. So there's a couple options for a negative. You only need one of them. And then positive, what I would probably do, once I found this answer of negative 4 pi over 3, I would add 6 pi over 3 to that again. So we have negative 4 pi over 3, add 2 pi, or the form we would like is 6 pi over 3, which gives us 2 pi over 3. And so there is a positive coterminal angle. Over here for number 6, we want a positive and negative. We're already in the positives, so let's subtract. So we want to subtract 2 pi, or a multiple of 2 pi, but we can think, well, that is, we want that with a denominator of 7, so I can multiply by 7 over 7, and we get 14 pi over 3. Sorry, over 7. And so let's go ahead and subtract 14 pi over 7. 20 minus 14 is 6 pi over 7. So there's a positive angle. There's a positive one. And then we can take that 6 pi over 7 and subtract 14 pi over 7 again, and that will give us a negative. So 6 minus 14 is negative 8 pi over 7. So there's our negative. 7 and 8. Now we're in degrees, so we're going to add or subtract multiples of 360. We can add 360 to this, which gives us a positive coterminal angle. So that's 670 degrees. Or we could take 310 to get our negative and subtract 360. And that gives us negative 50 degrees. So there's our positive and negative. Number 8, we could think we could add 360 to get us another negative. So we could take negative 665, add 360 degrees, and that will give us negative 305 degrees. So there's a negative coterminal angle. Kind of like before, we could have subtracted 360. And, oops, I forgot negative 665 minus 360. And we get negative 1025. So both of those are good options for negative coterminal angle. A couple things we could do for positive. You might have started with this 665 and realized, well, adding 360 isn't going to get us into the positive, so we could add 720, because that's 2 times 360. So we got negative 665 plus 720 is 55. Some of you might have taken negative 665, add 360. That wasn't enough, so add 360 again, and once again you get that 55 degrees. Nine and 10, find a coterminal angle between 0 and 360. So again, actually kind of like the other ones, sometimes you have to do a little bit more, but we could add 360 several times. We could realize, well, adding 720, that's not going to be enough. That's not going to get us between 0 and 360. So that gives us negative 180. But then we would have to add 360 again, which obviously would give us positive 180. So make sure it's between 0 and 360. For number 10, what we did is with a number like that, we could subtract 360 a lot of times. You could subtract a multiple of 360. So like 360 times 10 is 3,600. Actually, we could just do this. Oops, except I was supposed to hit subtract, so 5,555 minus 360 times 10. So there's 1,955. It could subtract 360 some more times. The other way we found to do this was to take 5,555, divide it by 360. So there are 15 full rotations. And so we can do 5,555 and subtract 360 times the 15. And that will give us our coterminal angle, because that subtracted 15 full rotations, which got us between the 0 and 360. Number 11 and 12, similar to 5 and 6. So we're going to add or subtract multiples of 2 pi. So in my mind, I'm thinking this in terms of a mixed number. This is 5.5 pi. So I want to subtract multiples of 2 pi. Well, I would want to subtract 4 pi. So 5.5 pi minus 4 pi is 1.5 pi, which is 3 pi over 2. And that's between 0 and 2 pi. You could leave it in either one of these forms is fine. Another way you could have thought was, well, I'll take 11 pi over 2, subtract 2 pi, which we would need to get a common denominator. And so you could take 11 pi over 2 and subtract 4 pi over 2, which gives us 7 pi over 2, but that's not far enough. Subtract 4 pi over 2 again, and you get that 3 pi over 2. Number 12, we're in the negatives, so we're going to want to add 2 pi or some multiple of 2 pi. Again, you can do this a couple different ways, but what we can do is get a common denominator. We need an 8 in there, so this is 16 pi over 8. Adding 16 pi over 8 to negative 27 won't get us out of the negatives. So you could think, oh, I'm going to multiply this by 2. And you could add 32 pi over 8. So negative 27 pi over 8 plus 32 pi over 8 gives us 5 pi over 8. All right, and that is the first part with the coterminal angles